I went through a brief period where I thought it might be exciting to be a professional Ashta hunter. A very, very brief period.
I know Aquila City rather well. Perhaps better than I would like. I am here for you, should you need me.
Should push for more genetic diversity in our crops.
You will be lost without me, but as you wish.
Well, hey there.
Congratulations. The promotion's well earned.
Not sure if those Varun zealots live in space. We've got several.
family's been tending this land for generations.
What are you doing here? What do you want?
John. You spoke to John. He asked you to come here. I see. Thank you for finding me and letting me know. It's difficult news to hear. We were really close once. I will read this slate later in privacy if that's okay. I had to get the virus away from the pirates. When I reached the exit, I remembered our vials had chipped. I couldn't get past the scanners without triggering alarms, so I injected it. I put the suit on board before I started to shed the virus. I couldn't risk it getting into a human population. With pirates flooding the place, there was no time to do anything else. Don't worry, the suit will protect us both. My immune system's compromised. It should buy me a bit more time for the journey. Ship's on autopilot. It's set to jump the ship, all its data, and the last of the virus, i.e. me, into the sun. I need help though. There's a leak in the pipe over there and I need tape to fix it. Once pressure is restored, I can make my final journey. I need some high-grade vacuum tape. You'll find the tape in a makeshift hut at the back of the landing pad I took off from. It's at the rear of the facility, up the hill, past the wind turbines. Please hurry, time is short. You'll find the tape in a makeshift hut at the back of the landing pad I took off from. It's at the rear of the facility, up the hill, past the wind turbines. Please hurry, time is short.
Separation. It's clear. Initiating landing sequence. are locked and we are docked.
Thank you. I couldn't do this without you. I'm glad I didn't shoot you as soon as you came on board. I had a chance to read John's slate while you were gone. It's a tragedy how things turned out for both of us. I just hope that if I meet John again in another life, we do better. There's nothing worse than regrets. Regrets of things done and the things you didn't do. I don't have much, but I want you to have this as a thank you. I won't be needing it now. Found it when I came on board. Marcus did love his old Earth memorabilia. That and his unsanctioned cloning experiments, of course. Once you're back on your ship, I'll transfer some credits too.
Ships separated. Engaging drive.
Saw your ship come in. Nice ride.
With GalBank, your money is always safe. Always.
I got a new job for you, if you're up for it. So chalk this one up to a very fine but clearly overworked credit checker that accidentally approved a sizable loan, then turned out to be murdering space scum. A real black guy, I know. I'm thinking conversation is not really going to be an option on this one, friend. It's all a matter of scale. Galbank processes umpteen loans a day. Inevitably, mistakes are made, and that's when I get the call. A sort of fiscal circle of life, if you will. You are really something, you know. Here's all the details, and thanks.
Well, I've got to say, this is a first. I've never had a Class 1 citizen in my ranks before. Congratulations, Captain. No need to thank me. You brought this on yourself. I've already gone ahead and processed your Class 1 benefits. All UC goods and services should now have a thanks for protecting the colonies discount. And the credits should be in your account now. But to get into your penthouse, you'll have to pay a visit to the Aphelion Realty office. They should be able to grant you access. Higher-ups wanted to make sure you know how much they appreciate what you've done. But with all that squared, it's time to get you a new assignment. There are your standard Vanguard missions, putting those pilot skills to use defending UC space. Or you could help the TMD in cleaning up terramorphs. Oh, and I got a request from Dr. Walker. Wanted your help collecting biological samples to keep an eye out for any, new alien threats on the horizon. Any of those missions call to you? Sure, you'll have all the specifics. If you find yourself looking for more work, you know where to find me.
What's this? Just you then? No UC executioner. So the cabinet knows the truth about Orleans. I can get to work. I'll tell you why. Because the UC was, and is, full of people unwilling to pay the price required for victory. In the last days of the war, the UC was on the precipice of executing a final great assault on the Freestar Collective home system of Cheyenne. A massive strike, capable of obliterating Freestar Central Command and ending the conflict at long last. I thought I'd had myself, but such invasions are costly, in resources and lives. Others in the UC believed the blockade would be sufficient to bring the Freestar Collective to its knees, but they were wrong. So instead, they sacrificed far more lives in a protracted war, rather than doing the right thing from the start, and demolishing the Freestar capital when they have the chance. You'd be right. Everything was in place. But just before we could launch the strike, word came from Londinian. The Terramorph outbreak had begun. I went to the city to assess the state of things, and discovered the Lazarus plant. We couldn't spare ships for a proper quarantine, so it was my decision to destroy the spaceport and seal off the city. Deal with it quickly, so we could get back to winning the war. I had a single ship. What would you have had me do? Ask them and the Terramorphs to form a line, and the UC fleet was spread thin already. No, I touched down, assessed the situation, made a decision, and returned to the task at hand. Very well. So upon my return from Londinian, we proceeded with our killing blow. Initially, we had great success against the mess the Freestar Collective called a Navy. But then the Freestar citizenry decided to get involved. Dozens of civilian ships jumping in to shield their military counterparts. I, of course, had no trouble firing on what should have been designated enemy vessels. But my peers had lost the stomach for it. So many lives lost already, they wailed. So the great UC Navy was routed by a mob. They picked our ships apart. The UC surrendered not long after. And thus rang the death knell for the great UC. It's human nature to see patterns, even when there are none. What ended the colony war was cowardice, nothing less. Once we'd cracked synthesizing the Lazarus plant's pollen, research that took years in and of itself, the attacks were exceedingly simple. Orlaze's ship would land on our target, bearing a few heat leeches, nothing that would raise suspicion. Then Lazarus pollen was pumped out of the ship during liftoff from the planet's surface. Shortly thereafter, an attack. A strike perpetrated in mere moments, with no one being the wiser. We were in the middle of an all-out war, Captain. Committing ships to save the city would have left another undefended. Which city would you prefer I'd sacrificed? Sidonia? Gagarin? New Atlantis? And if anyone else had learned about the Lazarus plant, well, the risk was too great. I weighed the options and made the call. Well, thanks to our combined efforts, the Sanan name has more clout with the cabinet than it has in years. I hope to build on that. I have a long list of names civilized society would be better without. I just need someone to help me remove them from the picture. Should we begin the hunt, or did you have questions? Just what I was hoping to hear. There's a slate waiting for you in the transfer system. Did you have a question? Have you reached a decision on our partnership? There are plenty of threats. Just what I was hoping to hear. There's a slate waiting for you in the transfer system. How may I be of service? Have you reached the Just making the settled systems a little safer. Arms dealers, rogue scientists, UC turncoats, war criminals from the Colony War. Each poses a threat if left unchecked. I'd be directing you to them, and you'd be making the galaxy better for us all. Just what I was hoping to hear. There's a slate waiting for you in the transfer system.
Informed us of your new status. Congratulations. I'm making class 1.
Ah, crime has slowed down since you started helping out, which is good for morale. The whole department is in the process of recovering, myself included. If I'm being honest, I still have nightmares of my team turning on one another. Things can be replaced and wounds can be healed, but building back that trust in each other is going to take time. Luckily, we've built a good culture here, and we hired some new recruits who were inspired by what you did. I've got faith we'll survive this. I do. Thanks to you, the spaceport is up and running again, which is good for commerce, but also for smugglers. We've received a tip that someone has been bringing in contraband into New Atlantis through the spaceport, and we need to investigate. Well, technology-wise, criminals have always been one step ahead. No different now than it was centuries ago. Smugglers often have a fancy shielding or scan jammers that allow them to evade the checks. But luckily, we can still use old-fashioned detective work to track these criminals down. Great. First, speak to one of the technicians over by landing pad B. Ask them if they've noticed any suspicious activity. Once you've gotten a lead, cross-reference their testimony with ship records over at Aegis. When you're done, report back to me with your findings. There should be a few working on the landing pads. If they don't know anything, move on to another. Right now, we don't have any good leads. But if anyone's seen anything, it will give us something to go on. Remember that job you did for Agent Plato? I finally had a reason to call in that favor he owes us. I asked him to pull the names and cargo of every potential smuggling ship that docked in the last month. He said he'll have a slate ready for you to examine. See you later.
Any violations of the law.
You've been loafing around the house all day.
I've been reading. It's good stuff. It's about...
You should get some exercise.
I've spent my whole life in a book. I'm fine.
And how has that worked out?
Ouch. Touché.
We are You're welcome anytime. And I mean anytime.
I've got... Everyone in my poker night is going to hear about you. Really? I mean, I know you've been raising all manner of ruckus. But from the sounds of it, just how big are you talking about? So there's a choice then. Life's a funny thing. Every now and then, everything comes together into one choice, into one decision that can change everything. It sounds like you're close to the eye of the hurricane. That's something. Whenever I've been there, when I've had a massive decision, I try and quiet all my worrying and second-guessing, and just listen. I call it my inner heart. Some people call it their conscience or intuition. Some even call it talking to God. But every time I've heard my heart and followed it, I've had no regrets, no matter how crazy it may have seemed at the time. Is any of this helpful? It did? I mean, sure, of course it did. Son, no matter what happens, know that we couldn't be prouder. Exploration is never easy, and so many never make it home. But what you're doing is important. Whatever decision you make, and I know it'll be the right one, your mother and I will support it. It's good to have you home.